Hello and welcome to the Unverified podcast. I'm your host, Simi, aka Tamago2474, and of course, as usual, I couldn't do this without three fantastic co-hosts. This week, we have Reese, aka Gamercertain.
Hello.
Israel, aka Irimelade.
Hi.
And Isaac, aka Mechna Gamer.
Hello.
Hello indeed. This episode is about the audience's favorite topic, us. You know, right now, as we're recording this, it's the summer, and for 3 out of the 4 of us here, we have graduated from university. And yeah, I just thought the university episode, that would be pretty cool. So...
Who's the one person who didn't graduate?
Well, that would be me. I put my hand up for that one. As the person who actually opted not to go to university and pursued a slightly unconventional path, to the shock of many of my teachers. So as the person who didn't go to university, I'm actually really curious. What parts of the university experience did or didn't live up to your guys' expectations? Isaac, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, with my expectations, I remember going into uni, at first, finishing sixth form, I was like, oh, well, uni's gonna be hard. I hear people talk about how it's difficult. So I, messaged one of my teachers at the time, who went to the university which I just graduated from, with the exact same course, and also went to the secondary school, which his existence is really depressing because it implies that I'm going to work at that secondary school now.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Imagine he found this.
But anyway, I digress, right? So I emailed him going, oh yeah, so can you send me coursework, university books, anything for me to read up ahead on? And he did, and he was like, but you're probably not going to need them anyway. It's fine. I was like, oh, okay, really? Sure. I didn't look at them.
Right.
My initial expectations were correct.
Right, in terms of the difficulty.
Yeah, just in terms of the difficulty jump. Literally, I remember first day of second year, what happened is we came in, right? It was just a seminar. We came in, we sat down at tables. Then, one of the lecturers came in and said, all right, guys, so these are a bunch of actual reward clients. You're going to interview them now and then do a group project to make one of their products. Have fun. And it was just wait, what?
Bro, they threw you to the deep end, yo.
Yeah, they really threw us to the deep end. They really... And it was just basically a constant thing of me going, oh yeah, I know, understand. Until the gap between third year and fourth year, I was constantly going, oh yeah, so this is what I need to improve on. And then I would improve on that. And then the bar would have already been raised to the point if that wasn't enough anymore.
Just to clarify things for the audience real quick, could we actually go through, what courses did each of you do? Because I'm sure that's a question a lot of people have. So, yeah.
I've just graduated from a master's in engineering program, studying mechanical engineering. Dab, dab, double dab, I'm a master of engineering.
Let's go. Israel, how about you?
Yeah, I did a bachelor's in music tech. Or music technology for, long.
And Reese?
And I did bachelor's computer science.
Nice. So you have 3 different courses, which is good. And quite nerdy courses as well. Even the music one is music technology.
Yep.
So all right. So sweet. How about the other two of you when it comes to, your expectations going into university and what it actually turned out to be?
At least what I heard from university was that it was both stressful and both chill at the same time. Bit of an oxymoron here. But I was like, hey, I'll take it on. I was like, honestly, first year, in terms of work, it was pretty chill, honestly. I think second year, I did a lot more work. I usually got a lot of my work in second year done pretty early. And I was almost on track to get all my work done early in third year. But the world happened during the second semester.
The world happened.
Yeah. I was just lucky enough that I actually did work I actually did really well in, and I ended up getting first class with honors.
Awesome, let's go.
So yeah,
no, that's sweet, man.
A lot of stuff required collaboration with other people, and I'm not really much of a social person, but for some reason I have this weird ability to make friends somehow. I don't know. I ended up knowing way too many people at university. It's actually upsetting how much
upsetting.
Damn. I was like, oh, it's just too popular.
Okay, you know what? That was harsh. Those were very harsh words.
Like
it's kind of
much, you know. What?
It was a bit too much. I was like, yo. I was like,
yeah, especially when you are in that setting, where it's like you essentially have a small community. I feel like getting to know people there would be quite common, right? I mean, Isaac, you also lived in accommodation. Would you say you had a similar experience?
First year, I knew quite a lot of people as well. Anyway, even just on my course, and then I found out that even though like there were a lot of people who I didn't talk to in fourth year, I found out that a lot of people knew of me somehow. Like I had a group project with a bunch of people. Then someone was like, "Oh yeah, Isaac, I know you." And I was like, "What? I've never met you." Then he was like, "No, I've seen you in computer rooms all the time, just doing work, like past like until 4 a.m." And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
I built up your reputation, innit?
Well, listen, okay, the dissertation in third year that's a completely different story. But let's not.
There is one other expectation I will point out about university. I think that's kind of integral as well. Because especially like during sixth form, people saw me as like this quiet dude who just doesn't talk much because I'm shy or something. No, I just don't talk because I don't really have a reason to.
Let me explain it as well to most people. Like, if you're talking about something which he doesn't really care about, he's completely turned off and will barely entertain it. However, the second you mention to him something which he's interested in, oh boy, be prepared for an hour-long conversation.
Yes.
I asked this man one question about Ruby one night and was there for 2 hours in a conversation with him.
At least for me, it was the idea that I was going to go through some big, huge change and I was going to become very social. I really didn't.
No, it's not like you're going to go through some big change. It's just that there are more opportunities to socialize. So, like, I do kind of get what they're saying. However, most of the parties were trash because, like, most uni parties, people only say, "Oh yeah, it was good," if they got pissed out of their ass to the point that they can't remember it.
How about you, Reese? What would you say about your experience?
Well,
and like the expectation versus reality of it.
Yeah, similar to Israel, you know, I had many teachers say I would also have a very easy time because for some reason everyone has this sort of perception of me because I got good grades that like I go home and study and know how to study and know how to not procrastinate. They said it's going to be hard, but I mean, when you're in... But then I massively underestimated how much revising, in a sense, you do by being forced to be in a building for 8 hours a day doing the work, and when that is entirely all on you. And it's very, very, very easy to miss one lecture.
Right.
Then you have a lecture the next day, and you go, well, I can't go to this lecture because I missed yesterday's lecture. And so I'm gonna definitely catch up on yesterday's lecture, right?
Yeah.
And then you forget to catch up on yesterday's lecture. Now you've missed 2 lectures, and now you got to catch up on 2, so you still can't go to that next one. And before you know it, you have your final deadline for that course, that module's coursework in a week, maybe. And you go, I gotta cram this whole module in like a weekend. But still not be bothered to loosely go over some notes and then wonder why you failed that entire year and had to retake the whole year and get kicked off the master's course. But, you know.
Damn.
Also, a slight thing about that as well, which was bad for me, is because in engineering, right, they couldn't assume that everyone had done all the same A-levels that I did, you know, so I had already done physics, already done, you know, computer science, already done, you know, maths A-level, like, and further maths, right? So if it was literally a maths course, basically, which was just for the first part, just teaching further maths, I was like, I really don't need to be here. So, you know, like week like 3 or 4, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to use this time to do assignments, because we'll get to assignments later, but oh my gosh, assignments, there are about too many assignments. But yes, I was like, okay, right, let's not go to it. One day I was like, you know what, I've got extra time, I need to, you know, like, and may as well, like, you know, go to this lecture and then, like, go to the library afterwards. And the man was just speaking a different language. That wasn't maths anymore. It's like somewhere along the line, they had quickly transitioned from, A-level maths to gibberish. And I was like, where did I lose the plot here?
I can back this up. Like, honestly, like, with the courses, you know, they don't know if you did, like, what, EdXL or OCR or some other version of, like, a maths A-level. And so there's different ways you learn things. And so, literally, you would go into, like my course was quite maths heavy in the first year. And it would be stuff like, 1 + 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. now differentiate, this equation to go to space. It's like, where did I miss something?
Sorry, Reese, real quick, can I just ask you a question? Do you think that you may have done better at uni if you lived nearer to uni, basically? Because I feel like that has a lot 100%. To do with things. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, if I was I originally planned to live in accommodation, and then I was convinced fairly last minute, hey, just save on that rent money, and so I lived at home with a fairly, lengthy travel to redacted university. And so for a social thing as well, with people on the complete opposite side of the cities, just didn't really necessarily in my first year socialize that much because of just the travel. It's I knew some people, but not that much. It's sort of in passing, how's it going and whatnot. And then also with uni, when you have that kind of travel, it's so easy to just go, this is a 9 a.m. lecture. Yeah, let's not. I only have one, you have one lecture in an entire day, and it's an hour long. It's a bit hard to justify 3-4 hours of travel time for 1 hour of lecture.
I understand,
and so that gets skipped as well.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's just a lot of that, and it then slowly, because of the way I haven't decided yet. That started being able to justify 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, days, everything that wasn't mandatory on my first year. But then when I did my resit year, I, tried to start, doing work. So I'd going over my notes to the content and just relearning the content myself, just putting in extra time, non-lecture time. And I realized the course was actually not that difficult. It was actually fairly easy and simple. Also, that's when I learned, you're going to find maybe perhaps 1 or 2 lecturers in your course that you sit in a couple of their lectures and go, if I stay here, I'm going to learn less. And I need to do this myself.
One of my courses, they literally, one time had to get in, a special guest lecturer, basically, to, teach everyone the course, because we were all complaining about the lecturer. And we were just we've learned more in this one lecture with this dude than we have in the past 9 weeks with our other lecturer. Can we please just have this dude? And then the next lecture, the original dude came back, and we were all just no. I passed that module, I'm pretty sure, because everyone else also failed it. So.
Oh, wild.
I even spoke to some people who I knew in older years, and they were yeah, no, that course, that lecturer is notorious for just everyone just doing terribly. That was expected.
Man, so there were even people telling you, yeah, that was, it's a known thing.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if you could have been, warned about it beforehand, right? And actually, it leads me to something I would like to ask. If you, where you are now, could go back and give yourself some advice, is there anything you would be I have to tell my younger self this?
People may act smart, but boy, are they stupid.
Okay. Is that in reference to like other people on the course?
No comment. Because say somebody like me, right? The reason, even like computing at like sixth form, I was never the greatest at, because I could code. I could do all of like the physical stuff properly, but any theory stuff I could not do. So people throw out words all the time, like fairly simple, like computing terms, like your encapsulation and whatnot, and things that I can never remember what they actually fully mean directly. But like, you have so many people, they will just use all these terms, these big words, these big terms, sounding smart, sounding like they know what they do. But when it actually comes down to it, they're at the similar level, or sometimes even, below than you are.
Right. So that realization, would you say it helps you overcome some imposter syndrome you may have been feeling?
The imposter syndrome will forever be there, because I never did we actually like learn to make like some sort of like end product for like any sort of coding thing. It's more like fundamentals and how to do it and how to structure it, rather than actually doing it. So like, it wasn't like ever say like making a web app or a site or anything like that.
Right. So in that sense, do you wish that your course was more practical in terms of actually, more vocational and more focused on your career in a sense?
A bit, yes, and also Because, not everybody is going to want to, say, make, like, web apps, websites, and some people may want to do, like, phone apps or desktop apps or this or that, or whatever area you want to go into. And so it'd be nice if, like, there was at least just, like, more of the resources. There may have been, I just never found them. Like, more of the resources to figure out all these things. That wasn't just Google.
Okay. Right, yeah. Google is...
justified at $9,000 a year.
Yeah. Fair. How about you two? Are there any other, like, is there any advice you would give to yourself just starting out?
For me, it would just be, stop debating whether or not you are friends with this person or whether or not you should say hi or bye to them. Please.
Bro, this was actually just out here like, I don't like people. I should have told myself this sooner.
No, genuinely, the amount of times I've, like, not said hi or hello to someone, I was just being, do I say hi to them? I mean, I've only seen them once. Do I say hi or back? They're not saying it back to
They
me,
just do
so...
the head nod.
Yeah,
Not Reese,
honestly.
outside of London, bro, they don't know the head nod. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the...
Oh,
Yeah.
they figure it out quickly.
If you were in London, you can't say that they do. If everyone else is doing it to them,
If they come into London, it's definitely different.
I guess.
Let me tell you a story. One of my flatmates was, she was leaving, and because she was leaving to go home, and for some reason I was just debating whether or not I should say bye to her or not. I was like, okay, when
Your
do I
own
say bye
flatmate.
now? Yeah, 'Cause I really talked to them. I don't know. I honestly don't know why I didn't. Because in my head, I was thinking, all right, let me not make it awkward. Say bye now, and then keep seeing her every time I walk back and forth between my room and the kitchen. That was
Right.
that was the reason.
Okay.
I was like, okay, yeah, I just ended up not saying bye. So
it's what you
Oh,
kind of
damn,
reminded me
okay.
of a story which I have as well. Like, there was a time in first year where my flatmates were like, "Oh yeah, Isaac, we're all going to a spa. Like, do you want to like come with us? For us all to go to a spa one morning." And then I was really there, like, okay, see, I could, and it would probably be like cool and everything. But I was like, but I have a tutorial that morning, and like basically for the tutorials, like your attendance is marked. And first year, I was
mandatory
very
ones.
close to like actually failing because I'm for missing too many monitoring points. So I was just feel like, no, because I have a tutorial. And then because I said no, it just came up as a thing of it just not happening because someone else was like, I mean, if Isaac's not going here, then yeah, I'm just not going to bother going here. And I was just like, wait, what? No, go.
damn,
what
they
do I
really
do?
wanted you to come.
Everyone just wanted you there, bro.
Right. Okay. And Isaac, yeah, in your case then, is there any advice you would give yourself just starting out?
It would be I would tell myself, honestly, just really think to yourself, just like consider to yourself for a moment, do you really want this and how much do you want this? Because of the fact that if you do like want this, then you're going to put in a stupid amount of work for something which makes very little difference. Because initially I went in going, oh yeah, let's put in all the work, let's put in all the effort, and let's get a first class in an environment where everyone has the same mindset, and where, like in like secondary school and sixth form, basically like getting like less than 70%, it was like, I made more than 30% mistakes. What is this? How could I? And so I went into uni with the same mindset going, oh yeah, 60%? Yeah. What? That means 40% off. How could I ever do this, basically? And so let's put in more work, let's put in more effort, not realizing that actually no, 60% in uni is actually really good, especially because it's one of the top universities in the country. So that means that I'm even just getting a 2-1, even if that is average, then that's now like the average in a set of people who are, according to the current, measuring system of intelligence, the quote-unquote smartest in the country and they're smartest in the world. So, and first class...
Average in the top, 5-10% isn't bad,
Yeah, and so, I went in basically going, let's put in all the effort, let's put in all... And the saddest thing about that is some assignments which I put in, no effort for as well, I got higher marks than the ones that I put in stupid amounts of effort. And so
that do be sad sometimes.
Really, first year and second year university just didn't make sense to me. I was like, I'm putting in so much effort. Why isn't it panning out? And so I'll tell myself, just consider how much you actually want this and how much effort you're willing to put in, because there is not much difference between what you can get out of a second class or a first class. Heck, even if you're applying for jobs, like most of them, like in fact, I haven't really seen any which require you to have a first class in university. So it's just like,
Yeah, from what I've seen, first class is just bragging rights.
yeah, literally that, like, no one really cares once you're done. In fact, it's more about experience. I would have also told myself, focus on getting experience now, because that's another mistake I made by, not doing any summer internships or not, like, taking a year in industry, because then I would have had, even if it didn't work to, get other jobs, at the very least I would have a likely pathway to a job initially as well, and also more experience with engineering, because that's the third thing. University engineering does not teach engineering. It teaches a lot of a background for, like, engineering, and the closest you get to doing actual engineering is them throwing you to the wolves going, hey, solve the energy situation of the university in a completely renewable way. And it's just like, what? How? You haven't taught us how to solve it. It's your assignment in a group project.
It seems that's the case with many of the, like, top unis, them type of, like practical STEM courses, where it's just mainly on the background and not actually, like, what you would be doing in industry necessarily.
Right. And what do you guys think of that setup? Like, do you see the reasoning of why they have it like that?
Yes.
Why do you think so, Reese?
Well, for example, with my course of computer science, that is such a varied course. Yeah. If they teach you the basics of how to do everything, say, like, if I just take the coding part of my course, teaching, like, the fundamentals of coding and how to structure it, any sort of one language or two, you can pick up fairly, like, easily if you know, like, one or in general how things are supposed to be. And so then if whatever sort of company or area you go to, you know the fundamentals of how to do things. And so once you're there, it's a slight adjustment period in, like, the training that you would have there anyway. And so they just sort of try and give you a general to allow you to jump into any area in any company.
Yeah, I actually agree with Reese there. Like, with engineering as well, it's such, like, a diverse thing, so it could be, like, basically anything. So they're more trying to build the logical thinking skills, I guess, and just, like, the problem solving skills. And also with that as well, just with the way that university system is, when you pick a course in university, you're already basically locking yourself into something. And so if they went more specific to lock yourself into something more, which you might, like, after, like, even just first year, after 3 years, just realize, I absolutely hate this, would be a bit more of a oof than, like, with something more general, where it's like, okay, I might not like this part of it, but, there are, like, a few bits which, I might enjoy. I might try to get a career in that.
Right, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Wait, when Isaac was talking about the idea of locking yourself in, Reese was laughing. I was curious, what's that about? Were there any emotions triggered there, or what? Let's hear it.
I mean, I think it's very hard to do any one thing for 3-4 years straight with almost no variation, especially since, like, uni is, like, especially in them, like, for me in my, like, in my third year especially, and, like, half of my second year, I broke down from stress. Like, I lost it. I was out. And, like, because it was just such a higher workload. In a perfect world, all the modules would be like, this module, here's your 2 weeks for this coursework, now that's done. Now here's the 2 weeks for the next module, and the next module, and the next module. But this is not a perfect world.
Yeah, this isn't.
What all the modules like to do is the modules like to go, hey, module A, we're going to start this week. Module B, you're going to start in 2 weeks. Module, C, a week after that. Module D, a week after that. When's it due? Every single one of these courseworks, yeah, they're due in at Monday the 16th of June at 5:00. Oh, what's that? Oh, we're also giving you an extra individual project and an extra group project, so that's now 6 pieces of very heavy coursework that you have to do. Oh, they're also due in on the exact same day.
I feel Reese's vibes because I had times, like, in a week where I'd have 3 pieces of major coursework due in 1 week, and then the next week still have more due in, and then more. Like, I literally had a time where I was literally doing one piece of coursework, and then as soon as I was done, rather than, like, going home or doing anything to relax, I then loaded up Word again to immediately start working on another piece of coursework during the next day, because it was really just, like, too much coursework. And every year people complain. And every year they're like, oh yeah, don't worry, we've heard your complaints. Next year it will get better. And it never does. Not once. Not once.
Oh, but for every single one, they really say, please, can we have your feedback so we can make sure this doesn't happen next year?
Yeah. And like, the time that it was worse for me was with my individual. In fact, no, it was 2 times. It was with my individual project in 3rd year, my dissertation, and my 4th year project. Now, on top of that individual project, which was like a major workload, I had assignments due all the time. Like, it was a stupid workload. Like, there were periods of times, so there was a period of time that was like, okay, beginning of term, I only have the individual project to work on. I worked on that solely, it was really good, really high standard. And then the test started. Then I started getting whipped by coursework left, right, and center. And so it came to, towards the end of the individual project. And then my project supervisor was like, oh yeah, I don't see what you've been doing all year, to be honest, at some points. I was just there, inside my head, just I've been working on every other piece of coursework which this university has been giving me, alongside revising for the exams, alongside doing the tutorials, alongside everything. And I can't, because the way that with dissertations and with the individual project works, they expect you to spend basically every hour of every day for that year working on that, which is not physically not possible when you have so many other assignments due in. And the same thing.
I mean, Isaac, for you, your 3rd year was also 2020. The start of it all. Happened. The start of
Similarly, a similar thing happened in 4th year as well, where this was the heat of COVID. So not only did we have to do the individual project, but we also had to completely respec it because we assumed that we'd be able to use the labs physically. We weren't, because obviously we weren't. And so we had to respec the entire project midway through, work on everything alongside everything else, alongside other major group and individual projects. And so it turns out that, my project tutor for last year was the person marking it this year. So the other person marking was it was really good, they really enjoyed it. And then my previous supervisor was like, I'm not sure what you guys spent an entire year doing, to be honest. And I'm like, you literally asked us to redesign the entire electricity and heat distribution network for the campus as one of our individual projects, and you expect us to have free time.
Do you feel like there was often a disconnect when it came to speaking to, your tutors or whoever you speak to in the faculty, where you feel like they didn't even understand how much pressure you were under?
With senior staff, they kind of get it because they're the ones scheduling everything. So they're like, oh, this is a bit of an oof.
Yeah.
But with the individual, just module leaders, they expect you to have all of, your time on their specific thing, which I guess makes sense. It's just not physically possible.
Right.
3rd year, for me especially, got bad for that. 'Cause that was a year where everything was not optional, but you got to basically pick every module you did. And so you would have some people who would only have, say, 2 modules in a term, and some people would have 4 or 5 in a term. And so the people who have 4 or 5 are sitting there with almost no time juggling every single module they're trying to do. And the people that are doing 2 seem to just have so much time. So it's just listen, I've just got no time to do this. And they're like, but all these other people got extra time, they got plenty of things, and it's just,
especially with scheduling during COVID times in that last year as well, because we said in last year's, everyone chose their individual modules, and so it was basically impossible to find a week when no one had an assignment due or no one was busy to actually properly work on the project.
Right.
Honestly, often lecturers were fairly nice and be like, oh, you have 5 pieces of coursework due on Friday, I'll give you till next Friday, or I'll give you till Monday.
Christ, my uni niced us, they move, they first moved the deadlines by a week, and then they moved it by a month.
Whoa!
Yeah. My uni niced us. The deadlines got moved a whole month.
Sweet.
Nah. I mean, to be fair, I was also, at the place which don't believe in answers to past papers, so,
Oh, right. So you wouldn't be able to see, for any of the past papers given, what the solution was.
Oh, no. For a solution, you have to get together with other students and go, did we get the same? But Simi, Isaac, as you guys know, how many times in, say, further maths did we all get an answer? All go, you guys get this? You guys get this? All got it.
And it was wrong.
It was wrong.
Yeah.
You all got 5. You're telling me it's 10,000.
And then there'll be that one person who got a different answer, and we'll be clowning them Turns out they got it right.
Yeah.
Math sounds like you're practicing magic.
Oh, maths is magic.
Yeah, the more you guys
maths
talk
is
about
magic.
further maths, it sounds like you guys are just practicing
Oh, no.
wizardry.
It is. You have to be a wizard to reliably get that stuff done
Our
properly.
friend Josh studied maths at uni, and he decided to study engineering instead, like after like a year or two.
Yeah, past that.
Because like maths genuinely does become magic
Maths is
past the point.
insane.
It stops including numbers. It is just maths. Maths isn't real.
I miss numbers.
I miss numbers
yeah.
as well, man.
You know, a question that popped into my mind when Isaac was talking about how he just finished one piece of coursework and immediately opened up Word to start another one. I'm curious, right? What computer programs did you find your guys using the most during your courses?
I mean, it would be a cheat for me to say VS Code, but yeah.
All right, so that's Visual Studio. That's a coding program.
MATLAB.
For anyone.
Visual Code, yeah.
MATLAB. I detest MATLAB. I despise MATLAB.
What's MATLAB for?
Coding, but not real coding. See me, basically.
Coding maths.
So basically, see me. So engineers, we're not supposed to be able to know how to code. So people created this fake coding language for us called MATLAB. As a person who knows how to code, it offends me.
Isaac, every time Isaac had to do that thing, he would just send me snippets of MATLAB code with just a comment saying, just something along the lines of, does this hurt you? Or just like, look at how horrible this is, and complaining about MATLAB, because I luckily never had to touch it. But I got all the complaints from this man.
Right.
And for my fourth year project, I not only had to code in MATLAB, but I had to learn and understand another engineer's code in MATLAB. Now to understand, another person who actually studies computer sciences code can be difficult sometimes, but you can get logic. But with someone who studies engineering, who hasn't formally learned coding, it's just a nightmare, especially because we're doing comments. So it's just like, why did you do this? You just created a variable and put that into another variable and then never used the original variable again. What was the point of why are you doing this?
Sometimes you need to copy things.
X equals Y, Y equals 2. And you only use Y.
But for like actual like coursework stuff, honestly, pen and paper.
Oh.
It would be my most used application. And even for like notes and studying as well, I prefer handwriting. I mean, I didn't have many like essay courseworks. So like I didn't have to like handwrite an essay. It was all like math based courseworks and stuff.
So you didn't have to become an expert in robotic cow milking. Nice noises.
Robotic cow
no,
milking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
One of my assignments was to choose a robot, basically a type of robot which isn't used in factories, and discuss how it works, discuss like the implications of it, how it compares to humans and whatnot. And I was like, do you want to know what would be crazy? What would be left field? Because I just saw it as one of the random examples. If I chose robotic cow milking, I researched way too heavily into that. I got a first class in that assignment, but like at what cost, honestly, at this point? Because
you did lose your mind. I think don't we have like some older like earlier verified days, which were still just about in that time, right? Where you just come on yelling about cows.
Yeah. Like genuinely, it's like now
losing your mind.
It's now just like a curse on my soul, where if someone brings it up, I would just be that one dude who talks about it for hours, whereas no one cares and no one asked. So
Right. Israel, what software have you been using? Obviously doing music, I assume it'll be quite unconventional software, right?
We mainly use Logic Pro X. And because obviously most of our work is a Mac, so we have a Mac suite. We mainly use Logic Pro X, Pro Tools, and Pro Tools were more specifically for like recording stuff. Out of all of that software I used at university, I would have to say, honestly, probably Firefox. That's not a joke.
That's
not a
cheating.
joke.
That's cheating. That's like true for everything. That's true for everything at that point.
Yeah, because I was just really thinking about it. Because the amount of times I had to go on my uni's website to go through my uni's virtual library to go read stuff so I could write down and put into Word. The amount of times I had to do that. If we're going for actual logical musical software, it'll probably be Pro Tools. But yeah.
Right. Okay then. Fair. Cool. You know what? You guys have been talking a lot about the stress at points. Even Reese talked about how it took him to breaking point. I was curious. how did you guys find ways to cope with the stress? Or if, you didn't cope with the stress, what brought you out of the, breakdown state?
COVID.
All right, could you give us some more detail, Reese?
So, probably towards my final sort of exam term of my second year was when COVID just sort of hit. It's when sort of they were like, exams are now going to be online exams. That gave me sort of a comfort blanket to go, okay, I can focus a bit more on the course lyrics, because if I don't have every exact word and phrase memorized, I can check my notes and stuff, because they weren't stupid. They weren't going to go, you better not cheat and look at your notes in Google, because they know, if they're there, you're going to use them. So they just decided to allow it.
Mm.
And then for my third year, which is when I truly broke down entirely and was just gone and out of it, the only thing that got me through was the light at the end of the tunnel. If I was still on the 4-year course and that was my third year, probably would have dropped out. If I had to do any sort of resets, I wasn't resetting, I was dropping out. I was just I'm just gonna crawl to these exams. Shout out COVID for, the assist. And if I pass, I pass. If I don't, I'm done. I don't care.
Right. Damn. Okay. So it feels like it was on the wire for you. Like this was it. And you knew this was it. And in a way that probably pushed you to try and do as best as you can, because
no,
there's nothing after this.
Get through it.
Okay. Right.
There. I'm actually the absolute opposite of that. Well, first of all, with COVID, my university, they were stupid, and they were like, guys, and remember, don't cheat, don't Google things, don't bring things, up, we'll know. So I was like, okay, sure.
You don't have another laptop, VPN that.
No, even forget that. I was like, okay, sure, no, I'll follow your rules. Instead, I just made cheat documents on my laptops, which were literally a summary of every single thing on each and every course, with every single with every single equation in any format I would need it there, listed with a name.
I had pieces of paper taped on the walls and stuff.
Literally, my exams this year, I would have probably done well anyway, but I just feel like I did stupid well just because I had those. Because one of the exams, it was literally okay, this question cool, turn to this page of my cheat document. This question cool, turn to this page of my cheat document. This one cool,
wild.
this page of my cheat document. It was all there. But yeah, just in terms of how I dealt with the pressure, in general.
So we're hearing that Isaac cheated in his exams, is what we're hearing.
It wasn't cheating, because the lecturers advised that we basically do that. So I just did what they said I should. The university rule said no, don't, but all the lecturers said, yeah, do. Honestly, just do. I'm not expecting you not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, and with
they're stupid if they expect you not to look at things.
Yeah. And with just lecture and just with pressure in general, I found out from uni that it's very hard to just break me psychologically. Even if you do, I end up just kind of coming back rather quickly, going, okay, let's just do better next time. Third year, I fully missed the exam which I was supposed to do best in, because of COVID. I got confused basically on what time it was, so I missed it. And for that day, I was just oh fuck, I missed an exam. Oh, what am I gonna do? The next day I woke up, I was like, you know what? That just means that I need to do so well in all my other exams that me missing that exam doesn't even matter. And that was just kind of my mindset the entire way through. Simi, I remember in sixth form as well, you asked me about stress as well, the stress of, getting into Cambridge, and stress kind of just doesn't really affect me in a normal way that you would expect it to,
right,
affect other people. It's just I either just ignore it as much as possible, or B, go, okay, fine then, let's go.
Nice. All right, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, that resolve is definitely a good thing to have, and it seems like it worked out for you as well. So that's great. Israel, it sounds like from what we've heard of your experience that you pretty much had things locked down.
Yeah,
you turned in everything as early as possible. You were studying. You graduated with your first class. Did you have any experiences where the pressure was starting to get to you?
I have no idea.
That probably means no.
I don't think he went to
Yeah, I'm
uni.
so convinced that Israel didn't actually go to uni because, like, even apart from all of this, I can somewhat imagine, like, you know, going to every lecture and everything. But the fact that he claims that he had group projects
can't.
and he never had anyone who was slacking, that's a lie. That is a lie.
And he also
honestly-
claims that he wasn't the slacker.
Honestly, the most amount of slack we really had was just there was on like 2 different group projects. So I think one group project I had in first year, one of the dudes didn't attend our meetings. That was about it, but he did the work anyways. And the other kind of slacking we had was mostly due to the fact that the person we kind of depended on was taking a bit longer because he has a slow Mac. Basically, he needed to mix, but his Mac was slow, and he was the only one who could do it. Basically,
Last week, Israel didn't go to uni.
yeah. So that was the most.
Yeah,
Just
fake.
like I can't really think of any stress I had. I think my brain's just like, I'm not going to die. So, but it also helps that thanks to Kik Batowski, he said the words, "It pays to keep a cool head," and that quote has been playing through my head the entire time.
Wait, who says that quote?
Kik
Sorry.
Batowski. There was
a
an
TV
episode
show
of Kik
from
Batowski.
Disney XD.
DXD.
Oh, okay.
There was
Uh-huh.
yeah, I remember. I don't know why that episode has resonated in my head for no reason. Such a dumb episode, but it resonated in my head.
And
I
here
was-
I am
Bruh.
quoting Hannah Montana as if she's a great philosopher. Israel out here knowing the real ones. Kik Batowski.
Damn, that is awesome.
Maybe that's what I was missing.
Yeah, you needed to watch that show
Yeah,
back
Reese,
on
that's-
Disney
I guess-
XD. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
guess I had Hannah Montana, Israel had Kik Batowski. Reese was just missing a Disney Channel show to just, you know,
Yeah.
get him through.
Maybe you should have gone for That's So Raven or something. Yeah.
Mm.
But you know what, guys? It's
If I
actually...
could see into the future.
Yes, exactly, bro. Man, guys, it's actually been awesome hearing about your university experiences. We were like meant to cover so much more, but just hearing about your experience at uni itself was so interesting, and I just kept having more questions. So, you know what? Maybe we make this a 2-part where we
Could do a
revisit.
part 2.
Yeah, we revisit like
Okay.
the rest of what we wanted to talk about. But as for now, like, thank you guys for being so like open and honest about your experiences. It was really interesting to hear, and I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Don't you guys?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So people, thank you very much for tuning into this episode of the Unverified podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to leave a like on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on iTunes, save us on Spotify, do all those things. Show your support, do all those things. If you want to catch us live, you can check out twitch.tv/unverifshow, and the links to all our individual streams can be found there, as well as if you look in the description of the YouTube show, you can find links to all of our Twitters. But people, thank you very much for tuning in. We will now be doing our closing statements. Israel, what have you got for us?
Listen to the wise words of Chief from Arby and the Chief. Losers make games. Winners beat them.
Bruh.
Wait, are you calling every game developer a loser?
I mean, certain developers. I'm not gonna say who. You know?
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. All right. Isaac, you got a closing statement for us?
I guess just with uni and with the entire education thing, as we've said several times, it's not always the only path. Just really think to yourself, is it what you want to do, and is it the path that you want to take? Because, like, right now, studied for far too many years, and, you know, still don't really know if I want to do this whole engineering thing, so...
Right. Fair. Totally fair. And Reese, you got a closing statement for us?
Me of 4 or 5 years ago. Don't do it. Don't go to uni. Or at the very least, if you're going to go to uni, get some form of internship every year for saying.
Reese is
Yeah.
not here.
Get a gap year first, delay a year, find an internship, and if you find an internship, don't do it. It ain't worth it. It's not worth the stress. At the breakdown, find another way. Find another way, please.
Right. And my closing statement is I actually didn't skip uni. I am just on an extended gap year. Just fairly extended. Let's
to be
just
fair,
say
you
that.
did get to, like,
Yeah,
a uni
4
and
years of
not
gap
just-
years.
All right, people. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode of the Unverified podcast. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.